What if I told you there's an animal smarter than your dog, more empathetic than a dolphin, and it's not even a primate? This creature can solve puzzles, recognize symbols, and even play video games. And no, it's not what you're thinking. Scientists have tested its intelligence against 3-year-old humans, and it won. So, what is this mysterious animal you've probably underestimated your entire life? Stick around, because the answer might just blow your mind. We tend to rank animals by intelligence as if it's a simple ladder, but science shows it's far more complicated than that. Different species develop different kinds of smarts based on what helps them survive. A dolphin's intelligence looks nothing like a crow's, yet both can solve problems in ways that would impress us. Brain size doesn't tell the whole story. Dolphins have large brains with complex structures, but New Caledonian crows, with brains the size of a walnut, can bend wires into hooks to fish food out of tubes. And octopuses? Their neurons aren't even centralized like ours. 2/3 are in their arms. Each tentacle can think for itself, solving mazes even when separated from the brain. Then there's encephalization quotient, EQ, a measure of brain size relative to body size. It helps, but it's not perfect. Gorillas have high EQs, yet they struggle with puzzles that pigs solve easily. Pigs can learn symbols, remember them for years, and even manipulate joysticks to move cursors on screens. They're problem-solving rivals that of chimpanzees, despite having very different brain structures. Neuroplasticity, how well a brain adapts, matters more than raw processing power. Rats constantly rearrange their neural connections to navigate mazes. African grey parrots understand concepts like same and different, which until recently we thought only primates could grasp. The mirror test is another flawed measure. It checks if animals recognize themselves, suggesting self-awareness. Only a few pass: dolphins, elephants, magpies. But dogs fail, not because they lack intelligence, but because they rely on smell more than sight. Meanwhile, ants, which we rarely consider smart, use chemical trails to communicate complex messages across entire colonies. Intelligence isn't one skill, it's many. Some animals excel at spatial memory. Clark S. nutcrackers bury 30,000 pine seeds each fall and remember most of their hiding spots months later. Others, like octopuses, specialize in observational learning. They watch other octopuses solve puzzles, then do it faster themselves. Even emotions complicate things. Prairie voles form lifelong bonds, something only a few mammals do. Cows have best friends and get stressed when separated. Does that make them smarter than loner animals? It depends on how you define intelligence. Our tests often reflect human biases. We value what we're good at: tool use, language, social skills. But what about electric fish that navigate by sensing minute voltage changes? Or mantis shrimp that see 16 color channels compared to our 3? Their perception is alien to us, so we overlook it. Here's the truth. Every animal's intelligence is tailored to its world. Comparing them is like asking whether a hammer is better than a wrench. It depends on the job. So which animals defy our expectations the most? Chimpanzees share 98.8% of our DNA, so it's no surprise they outperform toddlers in memory tests. But some animals you'd never suspect can outthink young humans too. Take pigs. They recognize symbols faster than 3-year-olds in controlled studies. Researchers found pigs could associate abstract symbols with actions, remembering these connections for years. In one test, pigs used joysticks to move cursors on screens, showing they understand cause and effect, just like primates do. Orangutans plan ahead in ways that stump human children. Wild orangutans prepare tools hours before they need them, selecting and storing sticks to extract honey later. In captivity, they've been observed hiding tools from keepers, saving them for future use. This foresight requires mental time travel, imagining future scenarios, something most kids don't master until age 4. African grey parrots grasp abstract concepts like same and different. One named Alex could identify colors, shapes, and materials, combining these concepts spontaneously. When shown a blue wooden triangle, he could say three-cornered blue wood without training. That's categorization, a skill human children develop gradually between ages 3 and 5. Then there's the mirror test, a classic measure of self-awareness. Humans usually pass around age 2. Surprisingly, pigs pass too. When marked with colored dye, they examine the mirror to investigate the unfamiliar spot on their bodies. Magpies, small-brained birds, also recognize themselves, adjusting their feathers while watching their reflections. This suggests self-awareness isn't limited to mammals with large brains. Corvids, crows, ravens, and magpies solve problems that baffle young children. New Caledonian crows bend wires into hooks to retrieve food, showing tool innovation. Ravens plan multiple steps ahead, hiding food from competitors who might steal it. In one experiment, ravens waited until competitors weren't looking before hiding treats, demonstrating they understand others' perspectives. A skill called theory of mind that develops in humans around age 4. Even goats show unexpected smarts. Researchers trained goats to retrieve food by pulling levers in a specific sequence. The goats not only learned the sequence, but adapted when scientists changed it, solving the new pattern faster than the first time. This shows flexible thinking, adjusting to new rules, something toddlers struggle with. Dogs might fail some cognitive tests, but they excel at social intelligence. They read human gestures better than chimpanzees, following pointing fingers to hidden treats. Border collies can learn over 1,000 object names, associating words with specific toys. That's vocabulary comprehension, rivaling a 2-year-old human's. The takeaway? Intelligence manifests differently across species. An animal might fail one test, but ace another that plays to its strengths. Pigs recognize symbols, but don't climb trees like orangutans. Ravens plan ahead, but don't form bonds like dogs. Comparing them to human children helps us appreciate their abilities. But it's just one lens among many. But one ocean creature takes mimicry to another level entirely. Camouflage isn't just about hiding. It's a sophisticated form of problem solving. Most animals rely on fixed patterns, but octopuses adapt in real time. They don't just change color, they alter their skin texture to match rough coral or smooth sand. Some even mimic poisonous lionfish or venomous sea snakes to scare off predators. This isn't instinct, it's calculated deception. Researchers found octopuses study their surroundings before choosing the best disguise, showing they understand their environment in a way few animals do. Octopuses have 500 million neurons, but their brain works differently from ours. 2/3 of their neurons are in their arms, meaning each tentacle can think independently. An arm severed from the body still reacts to stimuli, reaching for food or avoiding threats. This distributed intelligence lets them solve puzzles in ways vertebrates can't. In labs, they've unscrewed jars from the inside, navigated mazes, and memorized solutions for weeks. One octopus in New Zealand learned to disable overhead aquarium lights by shooting jets of water at them, just because it disliked the brightness. Their mimicry goes beyond color changes. The mimic octopus takes deception to another level. It doesn't just blend in, it impersonates other species entirely. By contorting its body and adjusting its movement, it can mimic flatfish, sea snakes, or even jellyfish. When threatened, it might flatten itself like a stingray or flare its arms like a banded sea crate, a venomous creature predators avoid. This isn't random. The mimic octopus tailors its act based on the predator nearby, suggesting it recognizes different threats and responds strategically. Tool use was once considered uniquely human, but octopuses do it too. They've been observed carrying coconut shells to use as mobile shelters, assembling them like makeshift armor. Some collect rocks to barricade their dens, while others use jellyfish tentacles as defensive weapons. In one experiment, an octopus learned to open a child-proof pill bottle, a task that stumps many humans. Their problem-solving isn't just trial and error. They observe, adapt, and remember solutions, displaying a type of intelligence that rivals some primates. The mimic octopus's shape-shifting isn't just for defense, it hunts this way too. By impersonating harmless species, it gets closer to prey without raising alarms. It might mimic a crab to lure in another crab, then strike when the target is within reach. This requires not just physical flexibility, but cognitive flexibility, a mental agility we rarely see outside mammals. Scientists believe this behavior suggests a form of concept learning, where the octopus categorizes other animals and decides which impersonation will work best. Social intelligence is often linked to big brains, but octopuses challenge that idea. They're mostly solitary, yet they exhibit surprising social learning. In experiments, octopuses watched others solve tasks, then completed the same tasks faster themselves. Some even improved on the method, showing innovation. Their intelligence evolved separately from ours, an example of convergent evolution, where vastly different species develop similar smarts to solve similar problems. But there's one animal that combines all these smarts in unexpected ways. Here's the smartest animal you've likely never heard of, and it's not what you'd expect. Forget chimpanzees or dolphins. This primate shares 98.7% of our DNA, yet most people couldn't pick it out of a lineup. It's the bonobo, and it routinely outperforms other smart species in cognitive tests. While chimps get all the attention for tool use, bonobos quietly excel where it matters most: social intelligence, empathy, and abstract thinking. Bonobos dominate in tasks involving theory of mind, the ability to understand others' intentions. In experiments, they predict human behavior better than chimpanzees, anticipating actions based on subtle cues. They also outperform chimps in cooperative problem-solving. When food is placed on a platform that requires 2 ropes pulled simultaneously, bonobos collaborate without training. Chimps, by contrast, often fight over the ropes instead of working together. Their emotional intelligence is unmatched in the animal kingdom. Bonobos resolve conflicts through bonding rather than aggression. In one observation, 2 males argued over food. Instead of fighting, they embraced, then shared the meal. This happens regularly. Researchers note that bonobos use affection, grooming, hugging, even kissing, to diffuse tension. Their societies are matriarchal, with females forming tight alliances to maintain peace. Violence is rare, unlike in chimp communities where power struggles are common. Communication is another area where bonobos shine. They combine vocalizations, gestures, and facial expressions to convey complex ideas. One bonobo named Kanzi learned over 400 symbols on a lexigram board. He understood spoken English at the level of a 2.5-year-old human, responding to sentences like, "Put the soap on the banana." He even invented new combinations, using the symbol for marshmallow to describe a sweet potato he'd never tasted before. Tool use was once thought to be a chimp specialty, but bonobos adapt tools creatively. They've been observed using leaves as rain hats, sticks to dig for termites, and stones to crack nuts. In captivity, they improvise. One bonobo used a blanket as a ladder to reach high objects. Their problem-solving is flexible. When presented with an out-of-reach treat, they'll stack boxes or use tools to retrieve it, showing planning skills rivaling great apes. Bonobos also display self-awareness and curiosity. They pass the mirror test recognizing themselves, a trait shared only with a handful of species. In experiments, they'll examine their reflections, checking teeth or inspecting body parts they can't normally see. They also exhibit a sense of fairness. In sharing tasks, bonobos given unequal rewards often protest or refuse to participate until rewards are balanced. So why don't we hear more about them? Partly because bonobos are endangered, found only in the Congo's remote forests. Chimps, with their wider range and more aggressive reputations, overshadow them. But the real reason might be that bonobos challenge our assumptions. Their intelligence isn't about domination or tool complexity. It's rooted in cooperation and emotional depth. They prove that sometimes the smartest strategy isn't force, but understanding. So why don't we hear more about them? Animal intelligence isn't a ladder, it's a web of skills we're still figuring out. From octopuses that disguise themselves as other species to bonobos solving problems with empathy, each creature thinks differently. Charles Darwin put it best: there is no fundamental difference between man and the higher mammals in their mental faculties. A crow using tools or a pig recognizing symbols isn't less smart. It's smart in ways that matter for its survival. Next time you see an animal, remember, it might be solving puzzles we don't even notice. Want more mind-blowing animal facts? Hit subscribe for discoveries you never saw coming.